Hi, I'm Matt Gallagher, Deputy Editor of What Digital Camera magazine, and today I'm going to be reviewing the latest camera from Canon, the EOS 500D. So what are the main highlights of this camera? Well, it's got HD video, it's got a high resolution screen, it's got dust reduction, and it's got an interesting creative mode as well for people learning about digital SLRs. Now inside this camera is Canon's latest 15.1 megapixel CMOS sensor. It's also got the latest Digit 4 processor, which allows a shooting speed of 3.4 frames a second. For low light shooting, there's an ISO range of 100 to 3200, and this is extendable to 6400 and a high 1 setting of 12,800. For metering, there's a 35-zone TTL system, which offers evaluative, partial, center-weighted and spot options. And there's also the exposure compensation, which offers 2 stops in each direction. Now, to keep your images dust-free, Canon has made an effort to make sure there's less dust actually getting inside the camera. It also uses a vibration system which actually shakes the dust off the sensor. And finally, it has a dust mapping system which works with the software to remove any dust that has stayed there. Now, one of my favourite things about this camera is a 3-inch LCD screen on the back. It offers 920,000 dot resolution for a nice, crisp, clean image. Also, just above the screen, we've got 2 little sensors. Now, these actually turn off the LCD screen when you place your eye up to the viewfinder. This means it saves the battery life and it doesn't blind you when you're trying to take a picture. The live view function allows you to compose with 100% coverage on the back LCD screen. This also gives you a number of focusing options, from the manual focus through to the autofocus functions, and these include a whole image, face detection and quick focus functions. The live view is also used for the movie functions, and you can shoot a high definition at 1080p resolution at 20 frames per second, or you can shoot at 720p at 30 frames per second, and this is much better for motion pictures. You've also got the same focusing options as you have with live view. You can use the manual focus or you can use the autofocus options. The problem here is with a microphone built into the camera, you will be picking up any motor noise that's coming from the lens. As well as the regular shooting modes, this camera includes a creative auto mode. This allows new users to get to grips with more advanced features in a simple to use way. As you can see on the screen here, we've got 2 main sliders, the first of which is the background going from blurred to sharp, while the second one is the exposure from darker to brighter. This basically controls the aperture and the shutter speeds in a more creative way. Despite the small size of this camera, the navigation is really well laid out. The buttons are nicely spaced and everything is very easy to reach without pressing too many buttons at the same time. The menu system is really clearly laid out. You've got individual sections for the different types of adjustments you want to make, and there's even a custom menu where you can put all your main functions that you use all the time. The overall performance on this camera is really impressive. The autofocus works really well in almost any lighting condition, and it will keep shooting continuously at its 3.4 frames per second for as much card space as you've got in JPEG mode. Overall, the image quality on the 500D is really impressive, and for low light shooting, even at the high 1 setting of 12,800, the results are still very usable. Both RAW and JPEG images are very well detailed, if slightly on the unsharpened side, and the tone exposure leaves the images looking really natural. Overall, this is a great little camera, and despite its diminutive size, it packs it in a stunning performance. The only problem is, with a recommended retail price of £870, it does seem slightly expensive. The plus side of this is, it has already dropped around £100 on the marketplace, so you are getting a much better deal for your money. So, overall, we've given this camera 90%.